Hello Pisces, this is your story in the Jade Emperor's Great Race and the 2026 Yang Fire Horse Mojo. Okay, now this video we're going to show you all the lucky charms for Red Fire Horse, but also your lucky charms and how you can fit the two together to make this year the most auspicious for you, and also the story about how you fared in the Jade Emperor's Great Zodiac Race, how he chose all the animals and the animals that made it and why they, finished in first or second or third place, why they came out like that. And it's going to show you which animal you associate with and your story in the race and how you relate to the other animals. And it's sort of how all the zodiac signs get along in Chinese astrology and how that relates to Western astrology. Now, first, we're going to tell you that Red Horse year begins on February 17th of 2026 and lasting through all the way until February 5th of 2027. Now this year, that's the same as Fat Tuesday. So only this year, it doesn't always happen. Sometimes Chinese New Year begins in late January and sometimes in early February, or as this year, mid-February. And it's based on the second new year after the winter solstice. This year, it's just a coincidence that it lands on Fat Tuesday, and it's the it's the new moon. The new moon in Aquarius. Okay, so that's all the exciting things happening for this new Chinese New Year. Okay, now the Yang Fire Horse Lucky Charms. What this year are the gemstones that are going to be most beneficial for you to utilize? Well, ruby for vigor and valor and success and a great amount of potency and a tremendous measure of zeal. So be very zealous. And carnelian, citrine, and red jasper. These are three stones that you can utilize for connecting to strong verb and a terrific amount of dynamism. Amethyst is a wonderful gemstone this year for fortification of persons. And if you want to fortify also your property, also to banish unhelpful frequencies. In addition to amethyst supporting the appearance of your skin, your hair, and your nails. Now, colors that are very, very lucky for you are vermilion red in a Red Horse year. Obviously, red, yellow, gold, purple, and indigo. You want to avoid orange and avoid green and shun dark green this year. The numbers that are extremely auspicious are 1, 4, 5, 7, and 9. You want to avoid 2, 3, and 6. Western astrology sign of Pisces corresponds to Chinese zodiac animal of rabbit. And Western astrology sign of Gemini is in similitude with Chinese zodiac animal of horse. Now, Pisces, your lucky charm specifically, generally, of course, your birthstone, the gemstone, the birthstone for you is aquamarine. It's a vibrant blue or dark blue or light blue. These aquamarine gemstones are lucky in a Red Horse year. While green, blue, or light or rich hues, whether they're blue-green or greenish, whether they're very dark or light, those are to be avoided this year. So stick with the very blue ones, the one that tends towards the blue, okay? All right. Now, the numbers that are most lucky for you are usually 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4 are usually your Pisces lucky numbers. 1 and 4 are lucky in a Red Horse year. Avoid 2. Avoid 2 in a Red Horse year. Okay, now Pisces, where do you fit in the Jade Emperor's race? Where does your animal fit in? Well, Pisces' place in the Jade Emperor's zodiac race, well, the Western astrology sign of Pisces corresponds with Chinese zodiac animal of rabbit. Okay, you're the rabbit. Legend has it that the Jade Emperor held a race to place 12 animals on the Zodiac Wheel. Rabbit came in 4th place in this race held by the Jade Emperor. Dragon, that associates with Aries Aries the ram, in Western astrology, came in 5th place after rabbit, which corresponds to Pisces in Western zodiac placement. Rabbit did his very best to win and made a good showing by taking 4th place in front of Dragon. Okay, now Rabbit had fallen in the river, okay, and held onto a log that miraculously floated towards the shore where the finish line was, okay? That's what happened. What Rabbit didn't know at that point, while holding onto a log in the river, was that Dragon, or Aries, had paused in his quest for first place to help Rabbit by using a puff of air from his lungs to push Rabbit out of this circumstance where he was stuck in a river needing Dragon's help, okay, needed Dragon's help to get to the water's edge. So what seemed like a miracle was actually Dragon, or Aries, being above and saving Rabbit, giving him a push without Rabbit knowing. That's what happened. The story makes a good point that the Jade Emperor was very proud of Dragon's consideration of others, whom he put before his own ardent desire to come in first place. The Jade Emperor was happy at Rabbit's contentment in taking 4th place, and smiling wildly as Rabbit hopped by him on his way to rest after making a race well run. Did Rabbit ever find out that he placed so well due to Dragon's help? Dragon and the Jade Emperor were pleased to allow Rabbit to relish in his own accomplishment, and by no means wanted to embarrass Rabbit or to take away his joy. Okay, after all, team effort is more important than winning, and that was according to Dragon and according to the Jade Emperor. And so, but that's something that has translated down to other societies, other cultural, spiritual texts, okay? Because all the animal placements in the Jade Emperor's race, they correspond with the Genesis 49 and the 12 tribes of Israel, and Dragon and Aries and all that, and the tribe of Reuben. Okay, really, Aries the ram, you know, sometimes they say that Dragon is in the Bible is the enemy, or the Satan, the great Satan. But in actuality, and you know, Pisces is associated with the Christian, you know, Christianity and the fishermen and Jesus and all that, and Jesus against Satan. But actually, Dragon helped Rabbit, because Jesus was a rabbi, right? And actually, Dragon, the great Satan, helped Jesus or Christianity without them knowing. So what you think is your enemy might just be the one who did you the biggest favor of all that you're not aware of. And remember, keep in mind that when you think of the word Satan or Satan, it has a lot of fancy meanings, but understand that Jesus's maternal grandmother was Saint Anne, who gave birth to Mother Mary, Saint Mary. So understand that Saint Anne, Satan, the maternal grandmother, is always the bad guy, right? But she's the one that helped the most. So understand that, and took the sacrifice when she made a deal with who's God? The Jade Emperor represents God. Okay. Because in Chinese zodiac, it has to do with the Emperor of Heaven, the highest. You know, when you take the trigrams and you take heaven and you stack them on top, and you get a hexagon. You have a hexagram, but we have all long characters that make it not broken. Masculine characters that are not broken. The feminine characters are broken. The masculine characters are not broken lines. Okay, you have all of them that's from heaven. That's the Jade Emperor. He's the great Lord of Heaven. So that's where it comes from. And then all broken ones are in, you know, in the original Fu Si arrangement of the Chinese hexagrams, all 64. We had number 1 was all the masculine, and number 64 was all feminine, and it was supposed to be the woman in hell with her in the pit with her serpent. Okay, that was the Chinese That was the earliest one. Then after King Wen came in and he changed the whole thing, and he took her from position of being a polar opposite of equal strength, kind of like Lilith and Eve, yeah, and turned Lilith into Eve by making her submissive to number one, made it number two. He made the broken one number two, made Eve. And that, all the stories all over the world and all the cultures changed when women went from being the polar opposite, because 6 and 4 equals 10, and 1 and 10, see? And made her 2. And then 2 became doubt, oh, she doubts and all this. So you understand how it had changed all over the world simultaneously around the time of King Wen, and the King Wen system of these hexagrams became, of the I Ching, became the new modern wise way. When actually, if you study the Fu Si one that came before that, we got it out the back of a turtle. If you study that one, that's like that's like the stories of Lilith and those things. Understand that. It all changed all at once. These things are worldwide. Okay. Thanks for joining us. Join us again soon. We'll see you then.